So Karina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and thank you both. I was about to say that it's really nice to see some of the people here for the first time and to see a lot of those that have been already coming to the previous sessions, especially in June. And on a Friday, I'm surprised to see so many people available to discuss this with us. So thanks for that, and also for taking the time to progress a little bit more with us on the SIRENE project. So because, as I was saying, we have some newcomers, but we also have people who have heard this for several times. It is really not possible for us to do an update on what the project is every time we have a SIRENE workshop. But nevertheless, I would just add two notes. One is that SIRENE is an Horizon Europe coordination support action. We are now reaching half of the project this October, but we still have a lot to do. What we mainly aim with the project is to make social innovation reaching communities, reaching innovators as a whole, and that then we can all work together to enable SHAFE, smart, healthy, friendly environments. Especially in SIRENE, we are looking at the built environments and interaction with IT, ICT, but as a whole on trying to promote more inclusive communities. So today I will make a very quick update on where we stand at the project, and then I will pass the floor to Matteo, who is our expert hub chair. He will do this interactive session on discussing the Wise House on public and private finances. Then our colleagues from Israel, I think Oscar Adel, Francesca, will continue on discussing a bit more the priorities in the plenary session. And then we'll go to two breakout rooms, one on current trends and challenges in Europe and the effects on the creation of the social innovation framework of SIRENE. Villeka and Patricia, the colleagues from Academy, will lead it. And at the same time, there will be a breakout session developed by the ECH Alliance on how to build and maintain an ecosystem. As far as I know, this is the place where you can choose your breakout session and join the one you want to go further with. And then we will just do next steps and conclusion. So I hope that we are very participated, but at the same time, very efficient, and we can relieve you as soon as possible to start your weekends, because as we were saying in the beginning, this is Friday afternoon. So for the newcomers, just to say that what we mean when we discuss the SIRENE project is more or less, well, very, very shortly described in this image. So we want to build a social innovation framework that has 5 building blocks: a manual on social innovation, a hands-on toolkit, a capacity building framework, sustainability strategy, and a blueprint of good practices. And we are trying to develop this with all of you, so all of the experts in the different ecosystem stakeholders that we have around 27 EU countries and others which are gladly joining us as well. And this will be supported by the SIRENE repository, which is now undergoing. That will be a repository of projects, publications, and other resources. And the Digital and Expert Hub, which is where this workshop today fits in. And with all of this, in the previous sessions, we have already discussed with some of you what the social innovation framework would be. And today, this slide is just to make you a quick catch up on where did we reach in the last discussion and how our colleagues that are leading the works put your comments together for this table of contents, let's say. This has been shared with you through the Expert Hub. So there is this tool online that you can register and access, and where things will be shared so that you can also comment on it. And I will share it again after this session. But this is just to give you an overview of where we reached so far in terms of the framework and the different building blocks, and as well in the model that is being used to engage stakeholders in the discussions. One of the other documents that we discussed in the previous session was the Manual for Innovators on Social Innovation. And we also discussed with several of you what should be there. And this is the current status after our last discussion. Again, it will be shared as a document so that you can still comment on it if you either were not there or you were and you still have further issues to comment on. But in principle, this should be more or less the structure that we will follow now to put together the manual that will be developed. It is already being developed now and during the summer. Besides this, let's say, more research structured activities, we have also started some of the networking activities, and we have the first Science Cafe. I know some of you here were joining it. I think everyone got back saying it was a really interesting and amusing short session. The idea of the Science Cafes is to do very short sessions, so maximum half an hour. And this is what we did in the first one. We had this amazing speaker, Blanca, who told us what social innovation is and enabled some of the discussions. This is recorded and in YouTube. If you have any doubts on what social innovation is, I recommend that you go there and that you watch it because it's short and nice. And now we will have, sorry, a few more Science Cafes during the next year and a half. Some of them can be proposed by you, the experts, either done by you, or if you want to propose someone else to do it on a topic that you think is not clarified enough, if you think that there is something that the whole community could learn from or discuss further. So if you have any ideas on what you would like to do, or propose someone to do a Science Cafe, then that we would be very pleased to receive your suggestions. You can add them online on the Expert Hub, or if for any reason that is a problem, you can of course email either Adele or myself or both, because we have been in contact with all of the experts. It would be good to know what you think it's more interesting or important, so we are open to your feedback. And the current status of the Expert Hub, this is just the initial overview of the first that were assigned, is online also in our website. So if you go to sireneproject.eu, you will see that there is already this page where you have the different profiles. We have been disseminating them on social media. So I know a number of you also saw your own faces and profiles being shared. This is, of course, also recognition from our side of your availability to be here with us. And I took this slide also to let you know that when you see the title Expert Hub, below you have this button saying Expert Area, click here. You should have received an email where you have your credentials. So we would be very pleased if you would go there and click and put your profile and open any discussion that you feel fit. This should be our main entry point for the discussions inside the Expert Hub. This is how it looks inside. So as you can see, it's something very simple. The idea is just that you can type and write and put any documents there or share any ideas. We don't want to make a big fuss. We know that you already have a lot to do with a lot of different tools and repositories and etc. But our idea with SIRENE was also that you could have easy access between each other, between the experts, to your own expertise, your countries, your organizations. So what we did here was to create an area that is mostly for your use. So if you want to connect with each other, if you want to contact someone, then you can have the chat here to ease that process. And almost at the end of the wrap up, to say that our colleagues from DCH Alliance, Federica, she sent an email to all experts and some other stakeholders with a link to a questionnaire. This is a quite simple questionnaire, so it should take maybe 5–10 minutes of your time at most. But the idea is to understand from each of the experts here how your own internal, local, regional, or national network is at your country, so that on one side we understand the landscape that we have in the project, but also that we can better target the capacity building activities that we are now doing in SIRENE. So we'll have the possibility of having training sessions, capacity building sessions, short-term scientific missions, and grants for exchanges, training schools. A lot of these things have been done in cooperation with the Cost Action Net for Age Friendly. But as more as we know from you, the best we can tailor these activities to make them actually profitable also to you and to the actors in your countries and regions. So if you can very kindly take this 5-10 minutes and answer the survey, maybe Federica, you can also paste the link of the survey in the chat so that people can open it directly, then we would really appreciate it. If by any chance you didn't receive it, please also inform Adele or Federica of this so that they can get back to you and see if there is something wrong with the email or the mailing list. And last but not least, we already have some things planned for after the summer. And one of them is a training school that is being developed by Net for Age Friendly, but in close cooperation with SIRENE. Ivan Korbev, one of our experts present here today, is the organizer of the training school, and it will go more or less around the topics of policy, technology, and entrepreneurship in a digital society. We will have some special slots devoted to SIRENE and to the topics, and also meetings with local stakeholders. We will soon also share the information on the open call for participants, for trainees. So perhaps this is interesting for some of you, for example, working in universities or other organizations, to disseminate the call and have your younger researchers or colleagues being able to apply to participate in the training school. During the next 2 or 3 weeks, we should release the call and share it with you. And as the other maybe relevant information, we are being co-organizers in a session of the European Week of Regions. It will take place between the 9th and the 12th October. We are still fine-tuning some of the details, so we don't have it yet to share, but we will be there. SIRENE will be there and featured in one of the sessions. So if you are, by any chance, thinking of going, or if you can, because of this, consider going, then we would be very happy to have you there. The final date is not settled for our session. It should be between the 9th and the 12th October, but as soon as it is, we will disseminate it among you so that you can see if you want to join us. And from my side, that was it. I hope it was not too fast or too complicated, but if so, please let me know. We can have like 1 or 2 minutes if you have any questions or doubts. Otherwise, we would pass to the next slot. Okay, either clear or I put everyone to sleep. So Matteo, I think I pass you the floor and you can follow up.
Sounds great. Thanks, Karina. So I hope you got a coffee, tea, or some water ready so we can actually wake up if Karina put you asleep, but I'm sure she didn't. So we can start the next session. And to do that, I will share with you a link to a nice Miro board. So if you check the chat, you're going to find the link, click on the link, and you will be directed onto the Miro board. So just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. And in the meantime, you can take some time and join the Miro board. If you have any questions or any problems, let me know, and I'll make sure that the team is going to fix any permissions to access the Miro. So what are we going to do for the next almost 30 minutes? Well, we have been running this activity throughout the sessions in the past 2 workshops to better understand and brainstorm together how and why, the hows and the whys around the problem statement. And every session we had different problem statements that are going to influence and inform how this social innovation framework will be created from different point of views, and also by learning from your expertise and your experience in the field. So I'm going to spend 5 minutes today to share with you the results and the takeaways from the 3 breakout rooms, as you can see here from the 3 canvas that we collected over the last workshop. And then we're going to spend another 15 minutes for you to brainstorm around the new problem statement that we're going to launch today. And then we're going to wrap up at the end of our conversation with feedback and a Q&A session. So if there are no questions, I might start in sharing the takeaways. Karina, do we have questions maybe in the chat, or is there anybody that has anything to ask right now?
As far as I see, nothing that concerns the session specifically, but I think Adele may support you on checking the other things. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Thanks, Karina. So no questions is often good. Sometimes more questions are useful, but that means that we are all on the same page. So let me share with you the takeaways from the session from breakout room number 1 from the previous workshop. So the problem statement in April was around how can municipalities hear the voice of citizens for the building of inclusive and responsive environments. So the biggest takeaways from that session from the first group were to develop strategies for enabling community building, as well as creating and working with social network and connecting more with communities. So we see the thread around really strongly building the sense of community. The second, the team number 2 from breakout room number 2 had another problem statement, which was related to how to involve the construction industry, as often it remains outsiders of social innovation, when building solutions for inclusive and responsive environment. And here we've got a few interesting takeaways. So the need of developing evidence-based solutions, or inputting requirements for inclusive community engagement as a part of the design process, but also generate more evidences of the return on investment for industry when adopting SHAFE principles, so smart, health, age-friendly environment principles, to their business and products and in general business outcomes. Then provide incentives for the industry, so then they have actually something to work with to develop these solutions. And finally, providing at least a basic guideline on inclusive environments. So all of these were the emerging themes from session 2 from the team number 2. Now let's have a look at what the team number 3 produced around these other problem statements. Problem statement was about how to integrate in societal, political, and economic developments into the social innovation framework for inclusive and responsive environment. And the biggest takeaways were around creating awareness by supporting with integrated learning programs, by boosting legal and regulatory framework that facilitate the social innovation adoption, but also while harmonizing approaches to build those regulations. So there has to be an harmonization process to foster this process. And keywords were around, the big keywords were around adaptation and flexibility. So overall, these were the findings. And as you know, we really strive to get insights from every session so that can be used to jumpstart every workshop that we do, such as today. So as I mentioned before, now I'm gonna give you 15 minutes, and the team is gonna divide the participants. I think we are around 31 participants. So basically, we're gonna have 10 people in each breakout room, and breakout room 1, breakout room 2, and breakout room 3 will focus on this specific part of the Miro. So once you know in which breakout room you are in, just feel free to post your feedback and to write on postings that are related to your breakout room, so we don't mix up things too much. And today we actually decided to go for a problem statement that is commonly agreed across the breakout rooms. So everybody is going to have this problem statement. How might we deliver financial sustainability while prioritizing project feasibility for both public and private entities? Now, the exercise is, as usual, what we have done in the past 2 sessions, a brainstorming of how we can enable that, how we might deliver financial sustainability, how we answer with ideas, with questions, or with prompts, the resolution of the problem statement. We will be focusing mostly on the house, so on these 2 levels of further input that we're going to write down here. And what I'm going to ask you is to spend the next 15 minutes on to brainstorming as a team and writing down the first level of house, and then further dig deeper into them. So imagine that you write a few post-its here, say, oh, how can we get deeper? How can we build more ideas around this house? Okay, so that's going to be the activity you're going to do as a group. And then before the end, so in the 15 minutes, please take time to actually discuss together and identify the top priorities that will be used then later in the plenary from the ISBRA group to have a conversation. So in 15 minutes, brainstorm, write down the post-its, and then use these little dots. You can take them and move them over a post-it. Remember, every person in the team is gonna have only 2 red dots. So you can only vote with 2 votes over the important, high priority post-its that you believe are critical to address. Discuss, and then after, when we get back to the main plenary, we're gonna quickly go through the feedback that you produced, so then the ISRA team is gonna be empowered with the insights from this workshop, this session actually, to go ahead with the next part of the workshop. So that's pretty much about it. Before we send everybody to breakout rooms, are there any questions? Is it all clear?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good afternoon, this is Francisco Melero speaking. I just joined. I'm not sure if you have already shared the link on the chat, but I cannot have access to it.
I did, and let me share it again. Now you got it in the chat.
Okay, lovely, thanks.
I hope you can access it. If you have problems, let us know.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I don't hear any other question. If there is any question in the chat, let me check, maybe not. Cool, so I will say go ahead with the breakout rooms. I'll jump between them if there are any problems, and I'll see you in back in 15 minutes here. Enjoy the work.
Okay. I'll create 3 breakout rooms.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the main session. I'll be waiting a minute or 2 to make sure everybody will be here, and then we'll start with sharing the feedback from your team work.
So I think we are almost back. Yeah, you're muted, Matteo. So.
Thanks, Oscar. Okay, we're all back. It's great to see you and proud of you. You have done a lot of work, lots of feedback, and I'm glad to see also priorities emerging. So now I'll give 2 minutes. It's going to be short for the matter of time, but 2 minutes each team to share back the learnings and the top priority. I'm going to take in notes, so then the ISRA team is going to be able to use them later. So if we have volunteers, go ahead. If not, I'll ask for a team to come to the table.
Okay, if you like, Matteo, I can summarize the first group according to our discussion. So let's say we have defined a set of tools to make, in terms of house, the financial sustainability, and let's say we came up with the idea to work on capacity building, both in the combination of public and private strengths that could be put together. And we choose to have also strategy and some priorities, minor, because the first is capacity building, have also the mixture of financial tools. So splitting down the entire issue in minor issue. But capacity building, for example, we said that is about teaching how to proceed to the ones who need to run and manage the financial issue, to engage society, policymaker, small enterprises, and other relevant subjects. So in synthesis, if I'm right, colleagues, this are the main concept. Thank you.
And Oscar, sorry to jump in.
That's amazing, Oscar.
Which is the priority you identify at the end?
Yeah, capacity building.
Great. Thanks, Adele. And that's great. Well done, team number 1. And thanks, Oscar, a lot. Thank you. Okay, who's next? Shall we go with team number 2? It just comes after 1. Why not? So team number 2, the stage is yours.
I can summarize some of the discussion points. A lot of the focus in our discussion was put on the community. So I think it was this one who has a lot of dots with the invest in the involvement of community. Just so because of their involvement, we have then the resources to ensure sustainability for the project. But I included here while the breakout rooms were disintegrating, that this means as a how, which was not voted, but just as a side note, means community-based collaborative projects. I mean, having this requirement of having the community involved in projects as a way of ensuring not really financial sustainability, but community sustainability. Okay. And another point was having the impact long-term thoroughly analyzed, which I actually summarized further, meaning having social and business experts actually analyzing the impact and deciding the feasibility, because only words and headlines are not making real impact projects, and they do not prove feasibility in financing, for instance. That's it.
That's great, Andrea. So I hear here community, involvement of the community, and analysis of the feasibility, so having experts around mostly.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Great job, team number 2. Okay, then I guess there is only one left. So team number 3, stage is yours.
Yeah, well, in our case, as I mentioned, Matteo, we haven't been discussing from a team perspective, but just we have been working individually. So let me just point out that one of the most voted options is the communication strategy to reach stakeholders. I don't know if the author of this proposal can add something, or maybe just to explain a little bit more. from my point of view, I think this is really important for but for several dimensions, not just for delivering finance and sustainability, let's say. So to involve the stakeholders can favor the project feasibility for the whole life cycle of the project. So this is my opinion, but I don't know if any of the team would like to comment something. No? Okay. Another topic with 2 votes is social versus business innovation. But I don't have much information on this. I can comment my proposals, which are related to, well, one of them that I think could be relevant for this, when you are able to provide to the stakeholders or to the investors on the project, which are the benefits and co-benefits from the social point of view, from the social economic point of view. They can be more involved in the projects, and you can obtain capture their awareness to invest in the solution or in the project, and also capture their interest from economic point of view. If we are able to transform the social impact in a way of economic return, we can achieve our goals in this sense. So this is just one of my comments. Maybe the other members of the team would like to add something. What's your view?
Thanks, Amaya, a lot for your summary. Please, if anyone has to add anything, feel free to do so. But for now, I'm conscious of time, and I wanted to thank everybody for the feedback and the hard work you put in the last 30 minutes. I mean, look at how much you have achieved in 30 minutes. We've got a list of priorities, we've got a lot of ideas, and I think we're now able to pass the priorities to the ISRA team to then go ahead with the next session. So just to quickly summarize what we have done, we have got a great session here in Miro. We've got a summary of takeaways for team number 1, a summary of takeaways for team number 2, and a summary of takeaways for team number 3, which fits, sorry, Miro is getting a bit low here. And with all of that work that you have done, I am grateful for having this opportunity to work with you. That has been great. Thank you so much. And I think now the stage is yours. So Isra, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matteo and everyone. So now let's jump quickly into the priority chosen. And the exercise that we are willing to do is like that. Let me share the screen. So we are deepening each priority. So it means that now we will have, let's say, 3 rounds altogether, okay, related to the 3 priorities. So I will ask you something that will help us to dive. The first question is, which has been your entry point in relation to the chosen priority? So I suggest to divide a little bit around. The first priority was in the group 1, building capacity. So let's go first for building capacity. Then we have the second priority, the second group, sorry, priority that was community sustainability, and the third was communication strategy. So now we are talking about building capacity building. So let's write in the chat which was the first steps. What I mean, for example, capacity building. where we start from, and based on your successful previous experiences, where did you start from? You know, when you have, for example, investors or other people, they ask, what shall I do? Where I can start? So concretely, please write down keywords in the chat based on that. So capacity building experience, which was your entry point in a broad sense, okay, in terms of relations, action, other elements. So be creative, please, and let's say, try to be adherent to what you have done. So please write down in the chat, what was your first action? Meanwhile,
Oscar,
also,
have any
yeah,
idea? Should
please.
we write even if we were not part of the group?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's an open discussion altogether. So yeah.
Open for everyone. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dada. We make profit of, let's say, being together, working on each priority emergent. Just to let you know, the other questions that we need to reply are, which have been your successful factor, based on your experience regarding capacity building, and finally, the critical issues and barrier that you faced. Okay, so maybe I can write here, yeah, I see preliminary assessment of the involved stakeholder, diagnosis of actual state regarding existing capacities, defining the target group. We will save all this, very important. Yeah, please feel free to give your answers based on those 3 questions, depending on your feeling. So let's use, let's say, 1 minute left, and then we change the priority. Several ideas coming.
Sorry, can you go to the second question, please? I cannot read.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's a successful factor. And the third are barriers. So it's quite easy. Entry point, successful factor, and barriers. Okay, conscious of time, let's move to the second group discussion, that was community sustainability. So I work here. Welcome. Group. So also here, let's think about starting point, successful factor, and barriers. Okay, it seems that we produced a lot of ideas. Great, colleagues. So we will catch all the information, and the idea is to proceed also in the next expert hub meetings in this, let's say, analysis all together, diving into each topic. And now it's the turn to proceed with colleagues in the other breakout room. But so first over to Karina, I guess, and then to Villeke and the ECH Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oscar, and thank you all for thinking so much on Friday afternoons. I'm impressed. You're definitely in better shape than I am. So the idea now would be to go to one of the two breakout rooms that we presented before. I can quickly put it here so that you can decide. I think that it would be better if it was okay that you can open, maybe, is it Wook? Open the two breakouts, but that people could select which one they want to go to. Yes. I'm just very quickly putting here in the screen the two names in the agenda. So the first one would be current trends and challenges in Europe and their effects on the creation of social innovation framework led by Academy. And the second one, how to build and maintain an ecosystem from DCH Alliance. We will give, if you agree, around 20-25 minutes to discuss and then come back because we are already a bit delayed. Is this okay? Villeke,
yeah,
Patricia?
I would suggest 20 minutes as I also need to close.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that will also help you to wrap up on time.
Yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah,
that's enough. Okay, so we put as the framing to come back at 3:20, and then we have sorry, at 3:30, and then we just do the plenary feedback and wrap up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So, Wook, can you put the two breakouts exactly, and then you can choose which one to go.
Yeah. Sorry, Karina.
I don't know, Carolina or Villeke, if you want to do any quick updates, or if you prefer to make a short summary by email and then maybe share with the colleagues in the hub or through email. Up to you. And then we close.
Yeah, I had lots of very useful additions to the list. So I cannot sum up easily. So I will come back.
Okay, perfect. And Carolina, I never saw her coming back from the room, so I don't know if she was somehow disconnected, but I think we were talking a little bit the same. Most of the people in our breakout were actually familiar with ecosystems, and we were discussing a little bit on what makes them useful or not and interesting, etc. And I think that it was just an initial overview. So we will need to discuss a lot more, and also with the other people that were actually now in the other room. So I guess this will be also something to come back with in the future. So thank you a lot, all of you. I don't know, Oscar, do you want to close it, or shall I just thank you? And
as you like, just important to say that the next meeting will be held on October the 20th, okay? Same time. So I think, Karina, it's important to remarks and save your agenda.
So this
over
means
to you,
that,
Karina, please.
Yeah, this means you won't need to listen to us for a few months, and you'll have a lot more happiness in your life at the beach or at the mountain during holidays. So we will nevertheless maybe post some issues and send you any relevant things. But all in all, we really appreciate the fact that everyone was so active today here, and we really thank you for all your contributions to this very interesting topic for all of us, and wishes of a lovely weekend. Thank you also to all of the partners in SIRENE that helped to put this together. So thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.